Chef Mike DeLillo returns to Push Pause just in time for pumpkin season to prepare a delicious pumpkin pie for you to enjoy.
Hi folks, Chef Mike DeLillo here, and it's fall, which means it's pumpkin time. So as you can see, I brought a whole bunch of pumpkins, and I got a whole bunch of recipes for us. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is we want to make our pumpkin pie, but we want to make sure we have the right pumpkin. This is fresh packed pumpkin. This is a Dickinson pumpkin. Now this is a special type of pumpkin that's used exclusively for pie. The reason it's hard to find on Long Island sometimes is because these usually go right from farm to can within 2 hours. So we usually buy it like this, already prepared for us. The water content is out and it's nice and tight. We're going to add our fresh packed pumpkin, half a cup of water, then we're going to add 3 eggs, brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar if you want, but it's going to give you a darker pumpkin. You want to make sure you move the bowl and the rubber spatula so that all your ingredients are incorporated well. Make sure there's no lumps in the brown sugar. And then you can add a little bit of milk. Now I have about a half a cup of milk here. We mix that in slowly so it doesn't splash. Now that the filling is made, you have the option. You can make your own crust, or you can go out and buy one. Now most people will buy a prepared crust, and most prepared crusts are pretty good, and you can find them in your local supermarket in the frozen section. If you make your own dough, it'll last for months, so you could make a dough, freeze it, and use it for throughout the whole holiday season. This dough we made from scratch, and we used what's called a simple 3-2-1 pie dough. And that's basically 3 parts of flour, 2 parts of fat, and 1 part of water. So if you look at this dough right now, it's nice and cold and it's ready to go. What Brad's going to do is he's going to sprinkle a little bit of flour between 2 pieces of parchment paper. And that's going to stop the dough from sticking. But it's also going to give him the ability to put that back in the freezer if it does stick. So we can take that dough, put it right in the freezer just like that, let the butter harden up again, and then we can pull it out. He's using a French pin. If you notice, this pin has no ball bearings, no handles. It's easy to wash, it's easy to store, and it does a really good job, as you can see. The other benefit of the parchment, as you can see, is Brad just moved the paper. Nothing stuck to the table, and there's really no mess. Now, since we're going to put this in an 8 or 9 inch shell, this will be perfect size when we're finished to fit in the shell that we have prepared. Now that Brad has the dough rolled out, and you want to go 1/4 inch, no thicker than that, you don't want a really thick crust, he's going to roll this up on the French pin, which is another benefit to using the French pin, as you can see. Once the dough is rolled up, I'm just going to place it right in a pan. And this is a disposable pan, which makes it a little bit easier for us. Now the key at this point is we want to get the air out. So what Brad's going to do is he's going to knock the air out and make sure that all the dough hits the bottom of the pan. Now since this is a pumpkin pie and it's not going to have a top, we have the option of either crimping the ends to make it a little more decorative or leaving it flat. If we leave it flat, here's the easiest thing we're going to do. I'm going to hand Brad a knife and he's going to show you a quick trick just to get the excess pie dough off. So I could take this shell, ready to go. I could take all of our pumpkin mixture. Now this was a 1 pound recipe and I knew it would fill a 9 inch shell. So if you notice, it does. What you want to do is just tap and roll your pie so you get an even distribution, no air, and that's ready to go in the oven. The one thing you want to make sure is that if this should ooze or spill, it's going to make a mess. So I always recommend that you use a pie sheet or you use some kind of cookie tray. Another thing you might want to do to keep the tray clean is always use an extra piece of parchment paper. Now this is parchment paper, not to be confused with wax paper. This is a high heat paper that can go in the oven. Wax paper cannot. You place your pie right on the paper on the sheet pan, and let's place this right in the oven. That's going to go in for about 350 to 375 degrees for anywhere from 35 to 40 minutes. Now that 45 minutes have passed, we're going to pull our pie out of the oven. Look at this, folks. Beautiful crimped edges. Nice, evenly cooked pumpkin pie. Just the way we like it. I'm Chef Mike. Have a happy holiday.
For more tasty holiday pumpkin recipes, log on to facebook.com/culinarymd. For Push Pause, this is Archie Snowden. Happy holidays.